Hello and welcome to the first episode of Coaching the Coaches. Um, this is just an page that I've set up just to talk about exactly what I believe is the right way to coach in terms of different sports that I'm interested in, but also in how they should be coached, in my opinion, from under sixes to right up to seniors. My background is in I have played soccer or football. I've played Gaelic football. I've played hurling in Ireland. But I've coached in hurling for 3 years, under 12s, under 13s, and under 14s. In that time, I've only got a level 1 through the GAA coaching course, but I have seen, excuse me, a few things that I really do feel that's being lost in the coaching and also in the clubs that I am with in order to benefit the child. The my main I've dealt with adults, but I've mainly been coaching children, and I think it's so important for coaches that up until about under 16, under 17s, in all codes, it's my personal opinion that it needs to be development, development, development. It needs to be that we're developing these kids. It might not mean that they're going to be the all-star for your club, the all-star for a professional club, the all-star for an AFL club. That is not important to an under 16-year-old. That might be important to the parents of an under 16-year-old, but that is not important to them. It is very important that we go into trade coaching with the right mindset. In GAA especially, there is a forego that parents can help with coaching, parents can help with updating, but if the parents aren't on the same page as you are or as the club's overall development offer is, that is not going to help you in any way, because I have seen it myself where parents only shout for their own child. And they want to win. So they feel that their child is the only one worth praise or credit or scrutiny, but they want to win the match. And I've seen under 12s matches getting really heated. Over what? Like, I, for one, I'm all for people getting heated. I myself, at our senior matches in Castlewellan, club member, at our senior football matches, I can be as heated as anybody. But at under 12s, I am not interested in people winning matches. I'm not interested in people scoring. I'll tell you one thing. My first year of coaching, and it was before a lot of senior clubs were doing it, I kept a tally of the wides, the points, the goals that were scored for my team. The reason I done this here, and the reason that analysis is very important, but very important, is that I realised after 10 games in our season that only 2 players had scored. 2 players had scored, a midfielder and a full forward. Whenever I looked at the data, it became clear that the other players only had few wides. They didn't have the confidence to shoot, or else they didn't want someone getting at them, which is a term for it that they get criticised. So what we did, me and fellow coach, we, for the next 3 or 4 weeks, we done nothing but shooting drills. Shooting from 10 metres, 12 metres, 15 metres, 18, and we told the players once you get into an area that you can take a shot. By the end of the season, in the next 10 games, we had, out of the 17 players that came, we had 11 of them that scored. Now, that's a successful season for me. And that's the mentality that you have to have at underage. It's do or die at senior level, of course it is. And that's where the honours are given out. And it is important to a certain extent if your club are winning things. But if they're not winning things in the right way, then the goal dries up. I have seen many a talented player from my own experiences with the club and from watching underage football before I started coaching. And you think, where are they now? And it's not because they enjoy the game. It's because they stopped enjoying the game. We have to give these players, men and women, we have to give them a sort of solid base for life. Sport is far more than just a W or an L. Sport is about, timekeeping, respect for your elders, integrating in groups, making friends outside your social circles. There are 4 things that I haven't mentioned performance. 4 things that would learn them. They also learn about fitness. They also learn about integrity. They also learn about self-worth. As I say, they're all the characteristics, and they haven't hit a ball yet. Once they do get the ball, they're going to learn about how to make themselves more. They're not as fragile. They're not as their balance gets better. They'll get more fitter, and all the things that go with it. But skill is important. Skill is so important, and that's why it should be beamed on skill. You should be coaching. You should be coaching in a way where, if they do drop off, that they're a better person for it. The example was last year I implemented that everyone had to shake hands before they started training. There's nothing wrong with you learning from other coaches. I learned that from Joe Smith. I read Brian O'Driscoll's book, and every morning before training they shook hands with everyone. Brian O'Driscoll said it didn't matter. He was one of the better players at that time. I think it was 2010 they won the Heineken Cup, 2012 they won it as well. He was one of the better players, but he shook the rookies' hands. He shook the first year players' hands. And it just breaks the ice of everyone. Everyone is at the same level. Because respect, if you can give a child respect whenever they do quit, you don't want any of them to quit, but if they do quit, if you give them respect, then you have already enhanced them far beyond anything else. Because when they go into the working world, they're going to be far better off, because they will have the respect of the people, and they'll also be able to give the respect, they'll also be able to handle themselves, and they'll also be able to, like I say, timekeeping, understanding information, and then whenever we know what they're capable of, we can ask them to do more. Because you can't ask. In my own experience, we have players who are there because their parents wish them to be there. They're not there because they want to be there, and you can't coach them the same way as you can coach someone who is dying to be there, who's there 20 minutes early. And you have to be able to change your coaching session. You have to make it really that is so easily changed, because the best coaches should be underage. People have said it left, right and centre, but they don't listen. And the best young coaches should be put to under the 11s, 12s, 13s. Because I've went to the pitch and there's 8 people turn up, and I have a session of 20 set up. And I've went to the pitch with 10 balls and 25 turn up. And my nice session for 5 groups of 2, suddenly you need 5 groups of 5. And that's where you can learn. You can learn so much, but you see so much even that time. But what I would say is, I'm going to just have we chat every week, and I will go through coaching drills that I think are important. But right now, I just want to get the point across that it's all about fun. If you can get a child to enjoy and to feel a part of the team, no matter what their skill level is, they'll be there, they'll die for you. They'll be there and they'll give everything for you. There's one wee lad that came with us last year, and he didn't have a lot of skill set, truthfully, but I took him, I practiced with him, I showed him a few things, I gave him confidence, I gave him support, and by the end of the year, he was nearly the first name on our team sheet, only for the goalkeeper. And that's what brings that. Now, I'm not trying to pat myself in the back. I had to stand beside the goals at times and running through the match, but he's only 11. You know, you don't throw away any child or throw away any future. It's very important that these children enjoy, because you see, whenever I meet the parents and they tell me, "Oh, he's out practicing," you know that you've done a good job, because you can force them to train 1 hour a week, but you cannot force them to practice unless they're your own child. You can encourage them to practice, you can look out for them, you can try and integrate with them, but if you do not make it fun and you do not simplify it for them, if there's 3 things that you should get away from this session or this video today, simplicity is the number 1 thing for them. Most people who coach are about my age, 30 plus, I'm 32 years of age. You understand the game because you've played senior level, you've played and you've watched a lot of sport. They're 11, they're 10, they're 7. They don't know. Many of the time in my first year, you say, right, don't tap that ball to the edge of the square and then kick it over the bar. They look at you like you have 10 heads and you're like, oh right, that's right, you are only 8, you are only 10. And then you realise very quickly the ones who have been there since they were 6 and the ones who haven't. And it's worth sometimes, if you do have time or you have a lot of coaches and you do make time, speak to the parents and say, many years has your child been here? Oh, 3. Oh, this is his first year. Well, then you know they're not going to have a clue what you're talking about, or they're not going to understand fully what you're talking about. So simplicity is number 1 for it. Number 2 is fun. If you can integrate a solo or a toe tap or a hand pass or a bounce of a ball or even a kick or one touch sport, I'm reading a book at the minute on one touch soccer drills, because you can learn so much from every other sport. You should never feel that your sport is entitled more than others, because you can learn more from it. I coach hurling at the minute. I'm watching cricket drills, I'm watching ice hockey drills, I'm watching tennis drills, because it's all hand coordination. And if I can just take one thing from that, then I'm already progressing as a coach, but I'm also learning from other sports. That's so important. That's how you get an edge. You see, everybody wants to be a senior manager. That's how you get an edge. If you're doing things that build hand coordination, that build fatigue, that build stamina, that build endurance, and they're enjoying themselves, well, then you have won. You've won more than you'll ever win games. Because if your players are tactically very good, then you are going to win most matches. But if your players are athletically good, you're going to work hard to win games, and you're going to simplify the game plan at senior level. But if you have technical players, very technical players, who can come in, who can know exactly what's happening on the field, you can't be on the field. You have to trust the players. Say one thing that I done last year, and I'm certainly not an expert, I'd say, is I just only encouragement, and I text the parents to tell them that only my voice should be heard at matches, and that's not to run down anybody. That's just because they don't know what we've asked them to do. You could be asking somebody not to go forward, somebody to mark their man, and their parents are sitting screaming at them, "Why are you not up the field?" And then what happens? The child gets upset, and you're going, "Why is this boy or this woman or this grandparent? Why are they doing that to the child?" And I only shouted encouragement because you see, my mindset is this. You see, if a player goes to pick a ball up or goes to take a touch and it's bad, and you put him through hell and back, whenever the next ball comes, I will guarantee you money that the player that he's marking or the player that he's going to the ball with will get the ball. Because if you put yourself in them shoes, if you go and take a bad touch, you get a ball into your feet and you take a bad touch, or you catch a ball with hurling, or you go to take the ball off the ground in Gaelic, and you miss it, and you hear this here, "Hey, what the hell are you doing for?" See, the next time he goes to the ball, unless he has confidence that's rock hard, he's going to be thinking, "Geez, I got the head off me there. Let that boy have it." Suddenly he slows up a wee bit. The other boy gets in front of him, picks it up, and then what can he do? "Geez, that ball was terrible. What are you doing?" Whereas if you encourage them, "Come on, next time, let's get that ball up, get it in the feet, get the ball out. Come on, let's take a good touch, take 2 touch, take 4 touches, and then play it off." What's he going to do when he gets the next ball? He's going to say, "Right, I'm going to prove him. I'm going to do what he's saying. I'm going to take 4 touches. I'm going to make sure I get this ball up." And 9 times out of 10 they will, because you know they can do it. But as I say, the second thing is fun. So simplicity is the main thing. Fun is the second thing to keep them involved and to keep them understanding. And then the third thing that I would say is very important is to engage with the parents, but also timekeeping. Stress as much as you can timekeeping, because them 3 things are going to make you a better coach. If you have more time with the players, you're going to learn more as well. Last year we got the players to arrive 15 minutes before training started. So, for example, training started at 6:30. We asked the players to be there at 6:15. I always try to be there at 6:15. I think there was one day I wasn't, because it's important that you play by the rules as well. You play by the rules. If you set a rule, don't be rolling in at 6:30 with a cones around your shoulder, because that just undermines straight away. Like I say, I'm not perfect, but thank you for listening to my chat, and I want to post one next week about things that have happened to me and how I've overcame them. Alright, thank you very much. Bye bye.